Kathy Kurtz, Miss Anaheim. And Tiffany Tollett, Miss Gold Country. Congratulations, ladies, on your fine accomplishment. Well, it's been a full week of rehearsals and hard work for our young ladies, but one thing is certain. When Miss California 1988 is crowned in just a few minutes, she will be richly rewarded with scholarships, prizes, and awards, including this 1988 Chevrolet Cavalier convertible. For while we're about to welcome a new Miss California, it's also a time to say goodbye. For Simone Stevens, winning the title of Miss California was just the beginning. Her travels have taken her from one end of our state to the other, from the east coast of our nation to China and Japan, and everywhere she represented us with charm, grace, poise, and intelligence. Ladies and gentlemen, in our traditional farewell, Miss California of 1987, Simone Stevens.
Being crowned Miss California was not only a milestone for the pageant, but I'll always remember it as a very personal achievement. To all of the sponsors and volunteers who continue to show their dedication and support to our program, I cannot thank you enough for all that you've done for me. And to my family and friends, you have my most sincere and loving thanks. I will always draw upon the successes, association, and the wisdom that I've gained throughout the past year. Finally, to my young friends, expect the best from yourself and from those who are close to you. Express your dreams, but crystallize that success with planning, risk, and a lot of hard work.
In a very short while, we'll find out the name of Miss California 1988. Will she be your choice? Is it Lori Russo, Miss Culver City? Danelle Fink, Miss San Joaquin County. Lori Lynn Everett, Miss Riverside County. Lori Rochelle Branch, Miss Covina. Deborah Ann Corso, Miss San Francisco. Maria Ostapi, Miss San Diego City and County. Marlise Ricardos, Miss Lomita. Valencia Billiou, Miss Lawndale. Latanya Chappelle Harrod, Miss Ventura County. Or Leah Marie Tetrick, Miss Fresno County. And now for the decision of our judges. May I have the envelope, please? Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth runner-up is Deborah Ann Corso, Miss San Francisco. Third runner-up is Maria Lee Ostapi, Miss San Diego. The second runner-up is Valencia Billiou, Miss Lawndale. The next two announcements are the most important of the evening. From nearly 1,000 young women who have competed this year at the local and state levels, the decision is down to two. Our finalists are Lori Russo, Miss Culver City, and Marlise Ricardos, Miss Lomita. Congratulations. One of you is first runner-up and winner of a $2,500 scholarship, and one of you is Miss California 1988, who will receive a $10,000 scholarship, more than $50,000 in awards, with a chance to become the next Miss America. Miss California 1988 is Marlise Ricardos, Miss Lomita.
The 1988 Miss California pageant has been brought to you in part by Chevrolet, who tonight salutes all
your local stations. We'll be on Atlantic City. The undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Tyson, takes on Michael Spinks. Take a look at some of the workout footage of these two boxers from earlier today. Tyson, 21 years old, and observers say he has never looked fitter. As for Spinks, he is 10 years older, 31, perhaps weighing a couple of pounds more than he did prior to his last fight. They are both with us live now. We are going to start with the champion, Mike Tyson. Mike, Spinks is unorthodox. He talks about the Spinks jinx and trying to keep you off balance. Are you concerned about Spinks' style of fighting?
Michael's a very good fighter, but being concerned with his style, I have very little concern. I believe I'm the heavyweight champion and I'm the best fighter in the world. And I'm looking forward to showing that to Mr. Spinks on the 27th of June.
Tyson, will you be upset if you can't knock him out? And that has been your battle plan throughout your great career. Is it going to upset you if you can't get at him and knock him out?
Well, I'll be just as satisfied to have a 15-round decision, but I'm very sure and confident that I'm going to knock Mr. Spinks out.
All right, let's switch over to the challenger. Michael, you also are unbeaten. You've heard Mike Tyson say he's confident he can knock you out. Your feeling about the style of this fight and the champion's prediction?
Well, my feeling on the style of this fight is no more than any other. All of the fights that I've engaged in are very tough matches, and since becoming a heavyweight, I have been sort of overpowered. So it doesn't concern me in the style of the match, but I don't worry what Tyson says in terms of him knocking me out. I'll go out there, Brent, and I'll give it all I got to try to defeat Tyson and win the match. That's all that I'm concerned about.
All right. Mike Tyson, there have been a lot of reports by the print media of turmoil in your camp involving your wife and your managers and even your mother-in-law. And they say that you are troubled by these. Tell us the exact story. What's gone on? How much trouble is there? Have you been thrown off by those reports?
Well, the comment on that subject is just, it's so vastly silly because all these incidents have been a propaganda and just drawn so much out of proportion. As far as, I love my wife to death, I mean, and all the rumors that people have discussed is, it's just totally ludicrous.
Mike, who is your manager? Is it Don King or is it Bill Caton?
Don't be silly, Bert. Of course it's Bill Caton. Don King's a promoter. There's no way he could have both ties. There's a conflict of interest there.
Very good. Now, Michael Spinks, I think Butch Lewis is there with you, and I want to ask about the controversy surrounding the length of this fight. Are we going to have a 12-round heavyweight championship fight, or are we going 15?
Well, Brent, first thing I'd like to straighten you out on a matter about us being the challenger. As far as we're concerned, we are the legitimate heavyweight champion of the world.
All right, Butch,
first.
if you'll answer the question, I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
Tell me about the controversy involving the rounds. That's why we've got you on the air.
Well, regarding the rounds 12, 15, 20, 30, we'll be there on time. It doesn't matter to us, and we will have the W in our column on the 27th of June.
All right, Mike Tyson, your feeling about the length of this fight. Should it be a scheduled 12-rounder or 15-rounder?
Like I said before, we can go to the extent of winner takes all, fight to the finish. I'm confident that Michael Spinks can't beat me.
All right, Michael, the champion seems extremely confident. He has predicted here tonight he's going to knock you out. You make a prediction for me. How will this one go?
Well, I don't know. I never made predictions, Brent. All I can say is that the majority of the guys that I fought in the past have all made predictions. And none of them are sitting in my seat right now, so it doesn't matter what he says.
All right. Finally, Mike Tyson, I know you're a big NBA fan. Tell me what's going to happen here tonight in this 5th game and the rest of the way in this series.
Well, I'm very biased because I'm pretty much bi-coastal, but I'm an East Coaster heart, and I'm with Detroit.
All right, Mike. I want to wish you the best of luck and also the challenger, Michael Spinks. Good luck 11 days from now when you go head-to-head in Atlantic City. When we come back, we'll have the second half of this, the 5th game between the Pistons and the Lakers. It'll be Dick Stockton and Billy Cunningham. They'll be coming to you when we continue on CBS in just a moment.
Starring Doug Barr and Terry Copley. And introducing supermodels Devin DeVasquez, Stacey Bain, and Teresa Ring. Here, perfect bodies flaunt the female form, while Hawaii boasts a natural beauty. From erupting volcanoes to boiling beaches, bathing suits bask against the island's backdrop. On Fashion Report's Swimsuit Edition 88.
It's hard to believe that these beautiful green islands were created entirely from volcanic activity more than 25 million years ago.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Did you know that there is no day shorter than 11 hours long?
Is that right?
And the average temperature is 76 degrees?
That certainly explains why more than 5 million tourists come here every year.
5 million tourists, that makes what? Over 10 million bathing suits.
This year, swimwear drenches the female wardrobe in style. Welcome to the 80s, where women have learned to say, "Look at me," without saying a word.
$1988 means more for bathing suits. Credit the fibers. But something has stretched the imagination of the designers. Swimwear has taken a stab at sophistication and succeeded. It's bolder, brighter, and barer than before.
We can see the trends of things that are happening, the way colors are becoming more important from season to season, certain types of suits, silhouettes, so that it's kind of an evolutionary process that we go through.
Cole of California, one of the pioneers in the swimsuit industry, one of the first to transform swimwear into high fashion wear. It's suits like this from Ann Cole that give the 80s style. The end result? Well, goodbye Gidget, hello glamour.
Ann Cole contrasts colors dramatically. Here, opposites attract but remain together. And although seemingly different, the changes in the swimwear puzzle are put together slowly, piece by piece.
We don't reinvent the wheel every year. We don't change everything. We change a small part of it, really, but we do new colors, new prints, new applications of things. So it's, to the outsider, it might look like an entirely new revolution that we go through every year, but it really isn't.
Better bodies mean big business for swimwear manufacturers. Over 300 companies are now diving into the industry, and this year, competition means creativity. Welcome to the fads and fancies of Swimwear 88.
Some suits are strong against any backdrop. Here, beauty becomes the bathing wear and nature takes a backseat to neon, even in a grotto-like pool at the Maui Hyatt Regency. This is what's called bicolor splicing by Jag. The pink and yellow neon are laminated Antron and Lycra. It's a sleek diver look in contrasting color.
I don't necessarily follow everything that the fashion world is doing, but swimwear to me seems to be a real separate animal, and it's kind of nice because when you learn swimwear, you can vary it slightly and use a new fabrication and try new racy body styles.
Designers will pull from anywhere or anything when creating this year's swimsuits. This is a Southwestern spirit, and here it's a long way from home. Perhaps the most popular look for women this year is the tank. It's both athletic and feminine. It's what's considered the silhouette of the energized 80s.
I researched strange fabric resources, and I asked people to give me their strangest, weirdest, grossest things. And what I do is I try to find something that most people would find and look at and say, oh, that's hideous or that's ridiculous, or we can't use that. And I try to use it and make it pretty.
Once again, it's a skin diver look. Only this time, laminated Antron and Lycra cause fabric to shine like plastic. Suits like these are some of the newest innovations in design. They go anywhere from deep into the reaches of the hills, or simply to a place like this, the Maui Hyatt Regency swimming pool. Once again, we find Hawaii is a tropical paradise filled with hidden surprises.
Hawaiian mythology tells us that originally the universe was inhabited by spirits. After a long period of darkness, they created the sea and eventually these islands that rose to the surface. It's that kind of legend and many others that still play a very important role in the everyday lives of the people of Hawaii.
At dusk, Hawaii seems more magical, more mysterious, simply mesmerizing. It's the perfect atmosphere for the creation of myths. The hula, Hawaii's most celebrated dance, like many traditions, comes from legend. According to Hawaiian folklore, a male god introduced this dance to the men of the islands. Originally, the hula was danced by men alone. Years later, the volcano goddess Pele learned and taught island women. Each dance tells a story. This one is about the active side to swimwear from raisins. Swimsuits like these are made for motion. Here, grass skirts give way to a more contemporary appearance.
Today we have lots of different looks. Before, to be in fashion, you conform to a look. Today, to be in fashion, you try to create your own statement.
An expression of movement. A lesson in legend. A twist on tradition when performed in Lycra. Here, a bikini, tankini, or monokini of pastels, blacks or whites, all amount to a demonstration of personal style. The stories are bound in colors, heated in fire, and faded when night falls. The legends are of history, the evolution of some other time from long ago. And even in Hawaii, the oldest of stories are ready for updates.
more from Hawaii. When you think of Hawaii, you think pure paradise, with its vivid blues and greens and oranges. But there's an hour every morning when there's an absence of color, when Hawaii is nothing but black and white. The power of darkness, the purity of light. This year, black and white is not left to just landscapes. Almost every swimwear company shows black and white, a combination that seems ordinary until imaginations are offset by color contrast. Bill Blass is one to experiment with bold basics. The idea of bold and bright seems almost sharp-edged and a bit hard, but bathing wear like this from Harbor Casuals rely on feminine curves to soften these suits. The colors here again, like these in another suit from Harbor Casuals, are perhaps the most flattering for all swimwear creations.
The importance of color in a suit is the way it makes the person feel when they put the suit on. And color can create a whole mood. It can create a whole feeling in the suit. So to me, it's one of the most important things when you're designing a swimsuit.
Simply, these suits are striking. A mix-up of basics, like these from Rosemarie Reed, brings new light to color classics. Like the landscape, it's a mass of color or an elementary line rimming the bottom. Suits like this from C. Oates are outstanding. It's a creation of drama in something as simple as swimwear. Here, Gore-Tex masters the art of sexy. It's perfection of the female form. You might go as far as to say it's a rediscovery of the silhouette. It's the perfect plunge for those in search of sophistication. It's black, it's white, it's lined and pin-dotted. Companies like Mainstream try the basic colors on a basic style. The result? The skirted mayo never looks so good. Mainstream again experiments with classics. The severity of black takes a new style and makes it more than sexy. This season, almost all designers, including Catalina Juniors, are trying color contrast on for size. Darkness and light, the ingredients of swimwear design, the inspiration, the purity of paradise.
Everywhere you look in Hawaii, there's beauty. I'm on top of the Hyatt Regency Waikiki, where the views are spectacular. Over my shoulder, you can see the dormant volcano known as Diamond Head. It's been captured in 1 million postcards. But you don't need to scale tall buildings to find beauty in Hawaii. Everywhere you look, you'll find the vivid colors and the textures that make up this island paradise.
Hawaii is picture perfect. Swells of color illuminate the islands and the designs of this year's swimwear by Gore-Tex. It's an innovation in design. High-cut legs and leopard prints are secondary to the see-through fabrics found on suits like these. This could be considered the wild side of swimwear. Its innocence lost with plunging necklines and gold metallics. And when purchasing a suit that looks like these, according to model Devin DeVasquez, wave goodbye to the image of the girl next door.
It's not just a suit that says sensuality. It's the attitude, the comfort factor. Could be something all covered up or barely there. It's the person in the suit that makes it sexy.
Suits like these from Gore-Tex are bought for more or less. Basically, they're bought for looks. Over 50% of all swimwear purchased in the United States never go in the water. Oh, they see the beach and feel the heat, but they're considered fashionable more than functional. An expense is no object when it comes to high fashion.
I would basically categorize it three ways. First, you have the athletic woman. Then you have the woman who wants a tan. And third, I think the last category would be the look at me swimsuit. And this is the real fashion-oriented swimsuit. This is a woman who probably won't get this suit wet, but she'll look good.
Swimwear is more than sensual. It is sophisticated. Companies like Gore-Tex have finally brought bathing wear into the world of high fashion. And sometimes, simply looking good is number one. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
It's hard to believe that at one time these islands were nothing but black rock. Botanists believe seeds flew through the air and landed here, and now the islands are covered in green. Things weren't always so simple. Millions of years ago, violent eruptions began. The explosions were deep in color and rich in texture. It was the creation of paradise, an evolution in color making for the lush backdrops found here today. Centuries later, Hawaii is a tropical wonderland that requires tropical clothing, and suiting up is not always as simple as it seems.
Swimsuits are an integral part of a woman's wardrobe. It's probably the most difficult thing that she has to decide upon because it's the most revealing, it's the most personal. You're totally exposed, and all that is there to protect you is just a film of Lycra.
La Blanca is a company that represents the basics with style. Colors are what makes these suits different and dramatic. But according to model Teresa Ring, certain aspects of suits never change.
The bathing suit has always been the one staple of the female wardrobe that exposes the most amount of the body to the public. As the years have gone by, the colors, styles, and fabrics may have changed, but the price usually remains about the same. The average cost of a suit is between $30 and $40. But it wasn't until the early 60s, when the revolutionary DuPont fiber Lycra was introduced, that prices finally rounded off. Lycra made the manufacturing of swimwear simpler, and costs soon became more consistent. With the discovery of Lycra came a different look. Form-fitting firmly exploded, while boning, padding, and paneling went up in smoke. Antron combined with Lycra enabled experimentation with fabrications, and soon textures, structures, and color were different and dynamic.
The contrast of colors is almost unnatural. You take a color that's bright and you just tone it down with a color that you wouldn't expect, and it gives you a whole different feeling.
Whether it be basic black, metallic blue, or floral prints, 1988 swimwear is explosive, dynamic, and dramatic. It's an evolution, history in the making. It's the bolder side of fashion making its mark and setting its standards. It is here, creation continues.
The female form in a swimsuit is sometimes called frankly feminine. The bareness of it all says sensuality and curves are what's important when achieving a look like this. Suits from Catalina Juniors are swirls of eye-catching color. Rainbow colors in Antron and Lycra are as bright as the sun itself, and the monokini is great for tanning with style.
Most people will need more than one swimsuit because if you swim a lot or work out a lot, you won't always want to have the extra maintenance. You will also want change. You'll want different cuts if you have different purposes for your swimsuit.
The beach is for basking and bouncing. Both fashionable and functional suits find a home here. Catalina Juniors struts its stuff in not just attractive wear, but also in active wear. Sure, monokinis are great for tanning, but they're sports-minded as well. They can bounce with the best of them. It's a playful side to fashion. You might say it's the more animated side to swimwear. The look here is pulled from anything that's sports-oriented. These bathing suits allow movement, even if you haven't caught up with the speeds they could travel. These suits are designed for summer fun with style.
Hawaii is a real surfer's paradise. Some of these waves have been clocked at speeds of up to 500 miles an hour. Kind of makes you want to grab a board and get out there, doesn't it, Terry?
Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this.
Naturally, tourism is Hawaii's #1 industry, but agriculture is #2. Producing such diverse products as cattle, macadamia nuts, Kona coffee, Maui onions, sugarcane, and row after row, mile after mile of delicious golden pineapples.
It's nature at its best, lush and tropical. But greens abound in swimwear too, like with backflips, where muted colors brushstroke suits. It's here we see inspiration when a natural beauty is brought to the design of swimwear. High-cut legs and low-cut suits are all part of this year's look. There are no limitations to Lycra, but according to model Stacey Bain, suits weren't always so simple.
Originally, bathing suits were pajamas by night and beachwear by day. It wasn't until the 1930s that tanning became popular and beachwear was finally fashionable. Now, 50 years later, bathing suits go anywhere there's sun.
Swimwear is accepted attire in almost any environment. The scenery is secondary to suits like these. Bathing wear is still simple in style, but the glimmers in fabric appear in the most common cuts. Backflips, tank, and bikini are in. The pretty pinks and blues twinkle like tropical fish captured in the sea of green. These are the ingredients that make up paradise. The perfect fit for any backdrop, proves anything goes, anywhere.
I think women feel that they want a swimsuit for their active life, for their pretend active life. If they're not active, they want to feel like they're active. So just in case I get active, I'm going to have the swimsuit in my wardrobe.
A principal garment, a necessity, and this year, an update in the evolution of swimwear. It's an introduction to color as deep and rich as the soil itself. The look creates a natural beauty and leaves behind a lasting image.
Stay with us. We're coming right back from the Aloha State.
This is another side of Hawaii. In the early mornings, you can see that the water is basically really calm. The boats are out there floating and waiting till the early afternoon when there's nothing but action. This is activewear, but this is activewear that's polished. High-waisted bottoms and bandeau tops say sports-minded with style. So colors and patterns like these from Ocean Pacific that make activewear stand out.
I think of a suit as almost as an accessory, because it's something fun. It's something that catches a woman's eye. First of all, everyone needs a swimsuit, right? So it's the kind of thing that they have to go out and look for. But I think if it's eye-catching, maybe if it has a little bit of glitz, an incredible color, it almost becomes like a toy. You know, it's an accessory, it's a toy, it's something that's fun to go out and buy.
It's the other side of high fashion, the athletic side. It's anything from a skin diving look to the basic bikini. It's neons and black. It's the swimwear that says, let's play, without losing looks.
The customer no longer wants a cute, sweet suit. There's a lot of different looks out there that the customer might be interested in purchasing. So we try and target all of those. We try and you know, address those issues.
These suits are for the active woman. The woman that doesn't just get her feet wet, she dives right in. And here's where the fit is probably the most important. These suits are designed to move, and DuPont's Lycra makes sure they do. The stretch and recovery of the fibers enables activity without losing shape. It's the 80s answer to the athletic woman, proving swimwear is not only flattering, but it's functional as well.
Swimwear designers travel far for inspiration, but in the end, they always come home. Where fashion is oftentimes patriotic. And boy, would Uncle Sam be proud. This year, red, white, and blue have a nautical twist. You might say it's the 80s update of the United States Sailor, only this time found in the female form. The suits are called nauticals, and each designer offers a stripe or color pattern that is pure Americana, like these from Harbor Casuals. Here, history repeats itself. In the early 1900s, the first suit came in the form of a bathing dress, a sailor style, of course. It was made of wool or flannel and weighed in at about 8 pounds when wet. This year, the sailor theme is back, but this time, companies like Sea Oats offer just 6 ounces of streamlined Lycra. Better bodies may have bumped the dress, and finer fabrics may have lightened the load. But the 1980s woman is the reason for the success of a suit like this from Mainstreams.
Swimwear has evolved to the point today where the swimsuit is not controlling the body is more controlling the swimsuit. As we look back in swimwear, we find that because of fabric restrictions, because of the restrictions of women's figures, it was necessary to add a lot of construction to the swimsuit in order to control both the fabric and the woman's body. Today, women do not depend on foundations quite to the extent that they have in the past.
With this theme, we bid farewell to foundation. Catalina-like viewpoint flag waves these new body-hugging styles. It's the old national spirit found in swimwear. The colors are predominantly reds, whites, and blues, but those naughty nauticals latch on to any color combination that shows off suits, like these from Speedo. Nautical is a definite trend, an absolute tradition, but stars and stripes are only one type of fish in the vast sea of swimwear. Stay tuned, we'll be right back with more Fashion Report Swimsuit Edition 88.
What could be more idyllic than sailing on a catamaran off the coast of Oahu at sunset?
It's so gorgeous.
Do you know where we are?
Of course I know where we're at. We're at the world-famous Waikiki Beach.
There it is, and there are the twin towers of the Hyatt Regency Waikiki.
It's so peaceful here.
Peaceful now, but during the day, Waikiki Beach is a different story.
Yes.
Yearly, millions of tourists come to this beach. It's probably the largest audience a bathing suit will ever know.
And to stand out in swimwear here, you have to look good. Some know just how to do that. Gay Bar is one company that's varied in style but keeps within the arena of high fashion in blends of Antron and Lycra. It's anything from plunging necklines to skirted bottoms. Let's say these women know how to dress.
Then there are the other women, the ones that look good but could look a lot better. Camouflage is the answer to looking good when your bottom has given way to the law of gravity.
Another common correction can be found in the one-color suit. That in this case bears nothing at all. Small tops mean makeovers.
Blue and black are the right colors to hide and bikinis are in, but sometimes tummies still poke out.
Sometimes the better is found in simply dumping the outdated suit. A suit that may have looked great years ago may be the same suit that makes you look big all over 5 years later.
And no matter how thin, sometimes skimpy simply doesn't work. Here, a well-proportioned figure looks larger than normal in the hips. This, like the other 4 examples, are common errors, and when the goal is looking good, these suits just don't fit in.
What makes a swimsuit the most important is how it can make a woman feel when she puts on a swimsuit, to feel comfortable with herself, to feel that she's projecting an image that she wants to project, not to feel that she's necessarily putting on something and she's a little uncomfortable and she really doesn't want people to see her.
Taking a body and making it better is easy once you've identified the area where camouflage is needed. The drooping bottom is easily disguised by Ann Cole's skirted suit, and the bustier shows off the finer features while allowing for no tan lines.
Here, we must increase the look of the bathing suit. Geometrics like this or any print confuse the eye, so no one knows what's going on behind the suit. Again, good features are accented. In this case, it's LeBlanca's monokini that says, "Suit up and smile."
When a tummy pokes out, giving up the bikini is not necessarily the answer. A simple switch in style makes the stomach seem flat. Here, LeBlanca's high waists are high fashion. But more importantly, the tummy is flattered by the minor alteration.
When looking big all over, rely on basics. Here, the V-neck draws the eye to the face and away from the body. Black is still in when you want nothing to hang out. Black is better for hiding and is always sexy.
Sometimes black is sexy, sometimes it's utterly stunning. A simple outline in black makes larger hips look shapely. In this suit by Via Max, the bright color leaves the hourglass image behind.
Making a body seem better is simple. A few rules and the right fit are the answer to looking good on the beach or off.
Coming up, we'll take a ride to a secluded beach where hats are hip and bathing suits are hotter than hot.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Fashion Report Swimsuit Edition 88.
The evolution of swimwear has finally found its niche. It's the tides of progress, the beginning of an era. 1988 is dressing for success, this time at the beach.
The season will be bright and bold, and this summer will be hotter than usual.
It's beauty and beach, a combination of classic environment and creative innovations that make this year's swimwear different.
What designers try to do today is to do it better than anyone else can and hopefully please their customers enough so that they will feel wonderful.
The hard bodies of today are creating quite a splash in this year's swimsuits. Better bodies mean more beach and more attention to bathing wear.
This year is the year of style, seduction, and sophistication found in just 6 ounces of swimsuit. It's the new and old contrasted and combined to create a look, a feel, a projection of confidence. This is Swimwear 88.
Well, that's it for our show.
Did you have as much fun as I did?
No, I sure did. The weather was fantastic, the islands are beautiful, and the swimsuits were gorgeous.
Thanks for joining us. Aloha.
Aloha.
Between teammate Ayrton Senna and himself.
Yeah, it's there, but it's not as hard as everybody could think, because we are part of a very big team, very important team with a big constructor now with Honda, and we don't want to do any mistake, and we don't want to push too much and fight too much, considering that the main thing is, important thing is the team is winning. But then we have a nice fight, I mean, sport fight. Yeah.
At the end of the season, when the championship is at stake, you will fight harder?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. That's normal.
That's the voice of the man who is challenging Ayrton Senna, the leader, his teammate, Alain Prost. Ron Dennis has said that in practice he expects the drivers to drive for the team, but come Sunday, he says, quote, we expect them to drive for themselves, Alan. He says that motivation and desire to win is something that McLaren pays a lot of money for.
Well, that's quite right. I mean, that's why they chose him in the first place, and then to try and settle them down after that would be a mistake. No, Ron Dennis is very good. He would just let them do their own thing in the race for sure.
Now here's Prost, the second place man, number 11 McLaren, running that second position. And today it looks like Senna may tie him for wins in the season thus far. He continues at the pace he is now setting. Alain Prost still in second place here in the Detroit Grand Prix. CBS right here in Detroit at the present time in our live coverage today. We're watching this man, Ayrton Senna, slowing down. We're into the last 2 laps, and Senna has really stepped off the pace. He's backed up considerably here, apparently conserving fuel, conserving the car. He had a 55-second advantage over second-place man Prost the last lap, and he's willing to give almost all of it up.
Well, that's right. He'd give all of it up except for that one last second. I mean, this is a luxury now that he's earned. He may be a little tight on fuel, who knows, but he can now just literally coast home. He's built up that tremendous lead. This was what I was saying earlier on in the broadcast. He went for it, he built up a lovely cushion, and now he can afford the luxury of just literally cruising home.
Ayrton Senna, who became the first man to win this race back-to-back the last 2 years, will now put down a pretty formidable challenge for anyone in the future. He pulls it off 3 in a row. One of the reasons he may be running very slowly here is that he's a little concerned about how much fuel he has on board. They've been restricted as to the amount the turbos can carry. They carry considerably less than the normally aspirated cars.
Well, that's right. In fact, Prost was disqualified after winning the Italian, or at the Imola. He crossed the finish line, he did his slow down lap, and then they found the car to be underweight. And he figured that if he hadn't have done that slow down lap, he would have used that fuel, and therefore the car wouldn't have been that much underweight. That's why you'll always find now McLarens, when they cross the finish line, right at the very end, they'll pull up on the side of the track, literally yards past the finish line.
1 lap to go for Ayrton Senna and his 3rd Detroit Grand Prix victory in a row. This brilliant driver, who they say is the driver of this period in Formula One, leading now with a lead that is less than 40 seconds, but it's healthy enough. All he has to do is bring it across. As you know, Alan, from your own experience, there are times when you get to within 300 feet and you come up empty.
Absolutely, and you know, really, the idea is to win the race at the slowest speed, not the quickest. There's no prizes for the time he did it in. It's the prize is the trophy when you're there.
Well, he's sitting on a lead. He's built up a good cushion here, and now he's trying to bring it home with Boutsen running in 3rd. Thierry Boutsen, De Cesare in 4th. It'll be a great finish for De Cesare. 5th, Jonathan Palmer, up a spot from a week back. Martini will score. He's in the 6th position now. Delma is just outside of the top 6 scoring positions in 7th. And Julian Bailey is having an excellent race for Ken Tyrrell
as he maintains 8th. Alex Coffey is being shown in 9th. 17 cars have now retired from the event. And here's another one down. Looks like that is Julian Bailey's car that's in trouble.
That's a shame, so late in the race. That's a real shame.
Julian Bailey with wheels akimbo in car number 4. And here comes Senna up to the spot where Julian Bailey crashed as they come down to that first little tunnel by the Joe Louis Arena. There you see Thierry Boutsen, third place man, a lap down just behind Ayrton Senna of Brazil. And he is running just as slowly as he possibly can to get back to the line.
He just waved Boutsen by then. He doesn't even want him sitting close to him. He just said, look, go and get past me.
Not a race for the fleet. It is a race for the thinker here, as you said at the top of the show. And Ayrton Senna has backed off that fiery style of his, and he's got just about a quarter of a mile. Here he is into the last chicane, coming down to complete the 1988 Detroit Grand Prix, and to the line, Ayrton Senna, victorious here today before a tremendous crowd, and Brazil gets to celebrate yet another time here in Detroit. We mentioned earlier there's a club of about 1,000 Brazilians who live in Detroit. He, of course, their hero. And as we wait for Ayrton Senna to come back to the victory podium area where Chris Economaki will be chatting with him, let's go right to California, and Brent Musburger is standing by.
All right, Ken, thank you. Well, we will not have the Brazilian flags waving in the forum here this afternoon, but I'll tell you, we've got quite a few fans from the Detroit area, and they are hopeful that their Pistons can wrap up the NBA championship this afternoon. This is the Larry O'Brien Trophy here next to me. If they win today, they get it. The Los Angeles Lakers date with history being held up until at least Tuesday night. They have to win this one and then come back again on Tuesday night and capture it. And Dick Stockton and Billy Cunningham, what kind of a mood do you sense here in the forum this afternoon, Dick?
Well, I don't really know if the Pistons, the looseness is going to pay off for them as it has, and the Lakers look like they're a little bit relaxed. Billy, the question is whether 9 good men of the Pistons are better than 5 or 7 of the Lakers so far. The bench has been a big story here.
Well, it has been the story for the Pistons, especially when they can come off the bench with James Edwards, who gives them that inside firepower, and Vinnie Johnson, and we know how he can heat up for the ball club. And I'm sure Pat Riley is hoping that Michael Thompson and Michael Cooper can come in and do the job for them.
If the Lakers get a big boost from Cooper, that could send this to a 7th game. But Brent, everyone is anxiously waiting to see what happens in this big one.
Yeah, exactly, Dick. And we caught a glimpse of really an unsung hero in this series so far. James Edwards has played magnificently for the Pistons. I was talking to general manager Jack McCloskey a short time ago. In making that deal with Jerry Colangelo, they were first discussing a package deal that would have brought both Nance and Edwards from the Suns over to the Pistons. But the Suns wanted 2 of the young players on the Detroit Pistons. McCloskey backing away, but he said, I'd still like to have Edwards. Managed to get Edwards, and you know the rest. He changes up the look down on the pivot. He's done a great job. So, Ken Squire, we look forward here to the opening tap-off. The Pistons can wrap up their first ever NBA championship, but the Lakers are rough in the forum. Let's go back to Detroit, and here's Ken.
Ayrton Senna, 28 years old, from Brazil, has won the Detroit Grand Prix for the 3rd straight time. It marks his 9th victory in Formula One. He's headed to the victory podium area where Chris Economaki is standing by. It's going to be some contest coming up this afternoon between Detroit and LA. Not expected to be the walkover that we've seen here, where a 48-second advantage by Prost gives him the victory, or rather by Senna over Prost gives him the victory. In the World Championship standings, however, it is Prost leading with 45. Senna now has 33, and Gerhard Berger is 3rd with 18. Thierry Boutsen today picking up some points. He is now tied with Nelson Piquet for 4th at 11, and Michele Alboreto is 6th in the standings with 9 points. Well, here is Ayrton Senna coming to a halt after his brilliant drive here this afternoon. Let's go to Chris Economaki.
Okay, the Brazilian bullet is out of his car and flexing his muscles here. Get his helmet off, and we'll have a word with him. He's pulling his hands out. You can see how tough his hands are. He looks happy here. Joe Ramirez of Team McLaren gets the first tap from Ayrton Senna. And there's the balaclava coming off. Congratulations, Ayrton. 3 in a row. Let's see that hand here. How, okay?
Okay, tiring, very hot, very tiring, very difficult. The track was breaking up badly and was almost impossible to stay on the road.
Well, you slowed down very, very much at the end. Was it running out of fuel, perhaps?
Nah, plenty of fuel. Was just the track was breaking up and I had such a lead that was no point to risk anything.
Okay, that start, did you almost got beaten by Berger going in the first turn? Okay, he's going.
Okay.
Congratulations and good luck. We're losing him now to the formalities on the victory podium. Ayrton Senna of Brazil, 3 straight here in Detroit. A happy man, and he acts as though it was a very simple go. And Alain Prost is here now, getting a microphone shoved down. Alain, congratulations on second place. The officials here are not interested in having people interview their champions. And Senna's washing his face with some bottled water. Here's Terry Bootson, the third place driver, about to go up on the podium. Okay, back to Ken Squire.
The average speed today was 82.221 miles per hour for the 64-lap distance. 8 cars finished, 18 retired, 2 cars on the lead lap, and Senna led all the way to dominate the Detroit Grand Prix.
Second and wet, because for the championship is better than nothing. And if you push too hard, you have a big chance to hit the wall. I had an odd moment, 2 or 3 times because of the brakes problem and gearbox problems. But I must say there was not a race, except the first 20 laps, it was not a race at all.
How's your hand from shifting? Oh, look at the blisters there. Oh, congratulations. Thank you. Right. Terry, nice to see you again now with your mask off your face. You look happy. How's your hand?
Perfect, no problem. I have a very good gearbox, no problem.
Oh, you're a very good driver. What kind of a day was it for you?
Well, it was rather difficult because the circuit was in a very bad condition, and at least if you make a little mistake, you're out in the wall. So I tried to go as fast as possible, but avoiding to make any mistake. It was very, very dangerous, very difficult.
Many, many cars went out of the race, Terry, more than ever before. Why do you think that was the case?
Because it's a very, very bumpy circuit, very difficult, quite a few accidents too, people hitting the wall. Because the gravel, you know, the surface was breaking up. There was a lot of gravel. If you go 10 centimeters off the line, you're into the wall. So that was the main reason, I think.
What about your car? I understand this will be essentially the same car you have next year. Will it be a winner next year?
I think so. Well, I very much hope so, because I've been winning the normally aspirated class since 2 races now, very comfortably, and the car ran perfectly. I had absolutely no problem during the race.
You have enough strength left for the party Ford will throw for you?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, good luck to you, Terry Bootson. And there's the third place man going into this box here for the unilaterals to be televised. So some 34 other countries. Okay, now let's go back to our host, Ken Squire.
82 mile per hour average, 3 miles per hour slower than this race has been done as a record pace for Senna. As this race comes to a close, we look out over the Detroit River toward Canada and the beautiful Renaissance Center. A final thought from you, Alan Jones.
Well, Ken, it was a slower race, I think, because A, the cars were down on horsepower from the previous years, plus the circuit was breaking up. For my point, it was a boring race, but nevertheless a safe one. I think that's always a main thing, and McLaren's dominance is making it a bit boring, but I think the battle for the 2 drivers should hot up, and I'm going off to have a Cole Foster's.
All right. Well, McLaren pulls it off again, 6 in a row. And that's the story here. There is a samba sound right now here in Detroit. What it will be at the end of the day after the Pistons, we'll know shortly. For Chris Economaki, David Hobbs, and Alan Jones, I'm Ken Squire saying so long from the Detroit Grand Prix in Detroit, Michigan. Stay tuned to CBS Sports. Coming up next, Game 6 of the NBA Finals between the Detroit Pistons and the Los Angeles Lakers.
CBS Sports welcomes you to its continuing coverage